Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Crazy Over Parties. You guys already know before we get started, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share the channel with other creators, DIYers, balloon artists, or anyone that you know that would like these type videos. Yes, I'm sure you guys just saw that balloon pop on me, and that is how we're starting off this video. This install, I was doing a silver, white, clear, and pearl white balloon garland on an acrylic backdrop. So the first step is I am overinflating my balloons, and then I'm going to remove some of the air by pushing the balloon against my leg and releasing the air. I am putting my balloons in sets of fours, and then I'm going to tie another set of four of the same color on top of each balloon. I'm pushing the balloon against my leg so that the balloon will have a nice oval shape. We don't want our balloons to be overinflated because when we go to manipulate them to build the garland, they're going to pop easily. And we don't want a pear-shaped balloon because it just simply doesn't look pretty. And of course, the overall goal is for our garland to be beautiful. So no pear-shaped balloons. If you are a beginner, I suggest you purchase a bag of balloons, get some good quality balloons, or even start out with Party City and just practice on blowing up your balloons, pressing them against your skin. Just work on building your garlands because practice makes perfect. When you start getting paid jobs, you want to kind of already at least know the primary steps. So when you're on site for your first install, you're not like scrambling to make your garland work. So just practice. Literally, if you have nothing to do, you're watching TV, just blow up a few balloons. See what it looks like when it's pear-shaped. Manipulate the pear-shaped balloons. Try to build your garland with the pear-shaped balloons and let it pop on you. And I promise you, after that, you will never put too much air in your balloons again. For this install, I am using 5, 11, 17, 24, and 36-inch balloons. I am using Tuftex and Gemar balloons, but what I will do is in the description box, I will list each color and the sizes that I'm using for this install. So let's get the rest of these balloons blown up, and then we can start building this really cute garland. And guys, another reason why you should be practicing, and I am going to start practicing blowing up balloons and building garlands more, is because time is money. This install took me about 2 hours, and overall, I feel like at this point, it should have taken me 1 hour. I normally get in a mode of taking my time when I'm building my garland. I'll blow up my balloons slowly. I build my garland slowly. And I am going to start getting myself out of that habit. Yeah, I need to be proficient in building these garlands. It doesn't, not to say that I'm going to rush it, but when you know what you know, you can do it faster. So practice, practice, practice. I am going to start practicing more and posting more videos of me practicing so that we can all just, when we get our jobs and let's say summertime is approaching and we have 3 jobs, we don't spend all day on 3 jobs. We can get those 3 jobs knocked out in about 6 hours or less. Okay, guys, so I got all my balloons for the most part blown up. And here you see me tying the necks of my balloons together. So a trick is, if you're just going to start doing this, is to stretch your balloon before you blow it up to pull the neck so it's not as tight. And then you'll have a little bit of stretching it to tie it to the other balloon that you'll be making your garland with. It doesn't give me any trouble of tying my necks tying the necks together now, but I've been doing it for a while, so it just doesn't bother me. Tying the necks together of the balloons also helps you save on material. I don't use 260s until I get to the point of adding more balloons to my garland. And then I was using some clear balloons for this install. So, of course, I would have used the clear 260 if I was going to tie it together. But in the event the store is sold out or whatever the case might be, tie my necks together, I don't have to worry about trying to hide the more 260s from showing through the balloons. My rule of thumb is I go 8 balloons, 2 sets of 4s on top of each other before I change the colors. I'm color blocking it in a sense. I don't like mixing my colors all together. I guess maybe for if it was a different install, but overall, I don't do that. I like to separate my colors out, and I normally start with 8 balloons of each color before I start adding more colors to my garland. To build a base of the garland, I start with 11 and 17-inch balloons. My 5, 24, and 36-inch balloons I add last with my 260s. And with my 17-inch balloons, I place them on opposite sides each time I put one in so that it's not all bunched into one section. And this was the base of my garland. This is what I was going to start to put on the acrylic wall. So I called in my friends at Insane Party Rentals and Light of the Party. If you're looking for rentals in Atlanta, you guys try them out. They are great. I was showing them where I wanted the wall to go and getting everything set up, and I was going to start back with tying my balloons together. So you guys see here, I'm showing you how I tie the necks and what it should look like. And don't worry, it is secure. Those balloons are not going anywhere. Okay, you guys see here, I am using a 260 to wrap my balloons around that white set to that silver set. So I use a 260 here to attach that because I'm going to use that same 260 to attach this garland to this silver shimmer wall. And in a few minutes or a few seconds, you'll see me show you what it looks like in the back. I always tell you guys that use whatever you have to secure your garland and make sure that it's not going to fall down. So in the back of the shimmer wall, it had like little openings that you could stick wire through. I used that to secure my garland in 2 to 3 different places so that I can make sure that it was secure. And here you guys can see it's tied on there. It's 2 260s at the top tied together, and then at the bottom I have another set of 2, so that way I know it's secure. This is the rest of the party. I was not responsible for that part, but hey, you guys see. And then I'm going back to the garland to finish this up. I have one 260 and I have 2 sets of balloons tied on each side. And I am wrapping that 260 around the garland to put the balloons where I want them to go. Well, I didn't like where I had this set at, or I didn't like being attached there, so I took it off. And that's the beautiful thing about using a 260 instead of a glue dot. You can remove it and put that garland or put those balloons somewhere else if you don't like the formation of it. You just unwrap it. It's that easy. So I came back with 2 larger balloons. That silver one looks about 17 inches and that clear looks about 24. And I decided to attach that to the garland first. I like for my larger balloons to be on the side and not necessarily in the front. So that's why you saw me wrapping it a few times to make sure that I had it positioned well. I'm going to continue to do those same steps with using my 260, one 260 with two balloons on each side and wrapping it around my garland to make the garland nice, full, and plush. So I'm adding balloons at the bottom of the garland because I don't like when the balloons don't hit the ground, and I don't want it to be like a big gap in between the garland and the ground. So I'm kind of adding balloons to the bottom to make like a dramatic ending and to just make it a little bit fuller at the bottom. Adding a few more balloons at the top. Initially, I was just going to add that cluster of 11-inch balloons at the top of the garland, but I decided to be smart and make that put a 260 and add balloons on both ends and put a cluster of 5 and then put a cluster of 11-inch balloons to the garland. So now that I'm adding that, it kind of just gives it a lot more definition, and now you can kind of see the garland getting more personality, and it's just coming out really cute. If you guys have any tips for me or anyone else that may be watching this video or anything that you find helpful, please leave it in the comment section. I know sometimes my way may not necessarily be the only way or the right way to do things. So if you have some tricks of the trade that you've learned along the way, please leave them below. I'm sure that we all could use a new trick or tool to get these jobs done. Another thing that I always get asked about is pricing. And you guys, please make sure that you're paying yourself fairly. People do not understand until you get to the job about how long and how much work balloons entail. I'm going to do a separate video on pricing because I get asked about it a lot. But what I will say for this video is to make sure that you are paying yourself fairly. Balloons take a lot of work. The materials are not cheap, and sometimes doing a job can be difficult. Do not cheat yourself on balloon pricing. My minimum for balloons right now is $300. I used to do $100 garlands when I first started out, and I would not do it again. It's not worth a $100 garland because I'm literally not going to make any money off of it. Balloons are not cheap, and then the labor that goes into building the garlands is not cheap either. Now that I have the bottom of that garland full, I'm going to continue adding a few more 5-inch balloons to it, and I'm going to keep it the same way. I'm going to have my 260s and 2 sets of balloons on each side to make it complete. I had a few balloons left over, so I decided to add those around the 30 marquees, and this garland was done. And this, guys, is how my garland turned out. Turned out very cute to me, very plush. The color schemes, the wall with the balloons, it turned out perfect. If you guys have a comment below, or if you felt like I could have done something differently, or if you have a special touch that you would have added, please leave it in the comment section below so I can keep that in mind for next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be safe.